Greetings, comrades and friends. I have changed the location since we since I made the last video. I have changed the location. I'm currently in Râmnicu Sărat. I'm no longer in Bucharest. I'm currently in Râmnicu Sărat. I have to say this video has been long overdue. For weeks and months I have watched how the things shape up and develop in the United States and most of Western Europe, where huge riots, huge rallies have taken place to oppose racism, to affirm and uphold the rights of oppressed nations, the rights of oppressed groups, the rights of groups who have traditionally been at the receiving end of white supremacist violence, primarily the rights of the black nations. As Chairman, General Secretary of the Romanian Communist Party, I extend the warmest greetings, I extend the red salute to the heroic men and women, protesters in the United States and Western Europe, who have taken a bold and decisive stand against the scourge of white racism, which is the scourge of humanity. I have this to tell you. It is right to riot. It is good to riot. You have to fight for your right to riot. You gotta fight for your right to riot. The smashing of racist symbols, the toppling down of racist statues is good. It has to continue. The show, my friends, the show must go on. More and more statues need to be toppled. Racist generals in the racist and slave-holding South have been toppled. Good, my friends. In Great Britain, an infamous slave merchant has been toppled. The statue of an infamous slave merchant has been toppled. Churchill got vandalized. It's a good thing, my friend. In Belgium, no less than the Butcher of Congo, King Leopold II, has been toppled. It has been brought to the ground. It has been smashed to pieces. And he must never be allowed to stand up again. It's good. It's good to see that happening. And my friends, it has to continue. It fills me with joy. It fills me with joy to learn that the movement to topple the racist statues in the United States no longer confines itself to toppling racists in the South, to topple Confederate symbols. Union symbols increasingly have come under fire. For example, it was none other than George Washington himself that got vandalized. It's good to see that the focus is shifting from Confederate symbols to Union symbols as well, to founding fathers. He was the founding father of the United States, and he got what he deserved. He got what he deserved. I have to address this issue that indeed communism and anti-racism have become so much intertwined that nowadays it is impossible to tell communism and anti-racism apart. At least when it comes to genuine anti-racism, It has become impossible to tell genuine anti-racism apart from communism. Communism and genuine anti-racism have become one and the same thing. My friends, the latest events in the United States and much of the Western world have shown that the black nation has truly come to dominate the revolutionary struggle. Because, my friend, even though the white working class has a glorious history behind, white working class militantism, well, apart from France, with the yellow vests, has been far overshadowed by black militantism. White militantism has grown smaller, and black militantism has grown incomparably stronger. Today it has become very obvious that without anti-racism, no genuine communism can exist. This is because black workers, black people, black slaves, black toilers have suffered more than white workers, white proletarians. Black proletarians have historically suffered worse. They have had it much worse than white proletarians, and they continue to have it much worse than white proletarians. That's beyond doubt. That's beyond any reasonable doubt. Recent figures have come from National Geographic on the death toll, on the sheer death toll of slavery, the slavery of black people. It has been estimated that no less than 16 million blacks have fallen victims to slavery and the Atlantic slave trade. 16 million blacks have fallen victim to slavery, to the horrors of slavery and the Atlantic black trade. All across the New World, from Alaska to Tierra del Fuego in the south, 16 million blacks have lost their lives as a result of chattel slavery, as well as on the routes, on the Atlantic routes, the routes from West Africa to the New World. All across the New World, as well as on the sea routes to the New World, 16 million black people have lost their lives. That's a gigantic death toll. That's a gigantic death toll, and includes only the chattel slavery. It doesn't include the horrors of colonialism in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. We know the worst case has been Belgian Congo, where 10 million black Congolese have lost their lives during the infamous reign of Butcher Leopold II, who deserves to be toppled, who deserves to be brought to the ground, who deserves to be smashed to pieces. That, my friend, is the undisputable truth. It's true, white proletarians have suffered. They have had their own share of suffering. It doesn't come close to the sheer magnitude of the suffering endured by black proletarians, black slaves, black proletarians. Today, it is well known that the poverty rates for blacks in the United States, for blacks in Britain, for blacks in France are much worse. Poverty rates for blacks are much worse than poverty rates for whites. It's a good thing that whites have taken part in the Israelis. White people, white leftists, white anti-racists have been there on the ground. They have taken to the streets to support the just and sacred struggle of the blacks. However, this doesn't change the fact that a disproportionate share of whites in the United States voted for Trump. who is the king of racists nowadays, the king of racists by far. And he aims to make America white again. This is what he stands for, to make America white again. Whereas young whites, young white women, young white men have taken to the streets to support the sacred struggle of the black people, a disproportionate share of whites have voted for Trump. This is the reality. So whites can no longer be a vanguard of the revolutionary movement in the United States. They can no longer form a vanguard. The vanguard today belongs to the blacks, to Native Americans, to Latinos. Also nowadays, the vanguard belongs to youth, because it's the youth who are at the forefront of the anti-racist struggle. The anti-racist struggle is being dominated by youth. Young people in the West are anti-racist. Older people are racist, but young people are anti-racist. So it is the blacks, the dispossessed minorities, the youth and the women who must form the vanguard. The vanguard today looks black and young and increasingly female. So again, I want you to know that here in Romania we are doing our own share of anti-racist struggle. Today the focus of the anti-racist struggles is to defend the Gypsies, who are the single most oppressed minority in Romania and in all of Eastern Europe. The Gypsy struggle will one day merge with the black struggle, with the Latino struggle, with the native struggle, with the aboriginal struggle, with the First Nation struggle, and they will shake the world. Glory to the anti-racist struggle, death to racism.